All right. Good morning once again. Thank you all for coming. My name is Lima Stafford Campbell, class of 2012, also class of 21 with my master's. Welcome you all to the Alumni Awards ceremony. The Alumni Association will honor its most prestigious award winners and will announce the winners of the reunion giving cups. All classes and groups will be celebrated for their reunion gifts. So I would like to congratulate the 2024 award recipients, and we have two today that we're also recognizing from 2023. So we want to congratulate them and thank you for all that you do for campus. So I just want to give you a round of applause for all the recipients today. I hope that many of you are having a really good time this reunion weekend so far. Many of you are traveling from far, some nearby. I met a few people that traveled from California, Florida, and one of my good friends came from Nigeria in Africa to get here today. Yes. Yes. I would like to encourage you all to reminisce on the good times with your friends that are here. Also to get to know some new folks that you haven't seen if you haven't been here in a while. I know a lot has changed on campus throughout the years, so please check out the campus, the college store, the new things that we have. We even have a massage therapist at the Student Life Center this weekend. You have free access to enter the Student Life Center this weekend, and you can speak to the massage therapist that's there this weekend also. Your program has the schedule for today, so you can refer to that. The award recipients, please make sure to stay back at the end of the ceremony to take your photo. This will be in the exhibition lounge, which is right downstairs. That will be at the conclusion of the event today for the award recipients. Thank you to the reunion committee members for your hard work and dedication to helping us make this event happen. I want to thank my staff in alumni engagement and the Parks alumni team for everything they have done, the departments on campus. Everyone has been so amazing working with us, especially our CAS food catering has also been great. So without further ado, I would like to ask Erin to come up so we can continue the program, and thank you and have a wonderful evening.
I just want to do a shout out to Lima. It is no easy feat to do 30 events, and you'll actually see her run out in a little bit to go set up so your lunch is ready. So I just am very appreciative of Lima and our whole team in organizing this weekend. Thanks, Lima. For those that don't know me, I'm Erin Boylan. I'm the Executive Director of the SUNY Cortland Alumni Association. We are just thrilled to have you back. You have one job this weekend. It's to have a good time. So please help us out and make sure that we accomplish that. We're going to start with a little bit of a somber note, but I think when we read it off, you'll understand why. So we lost a really important member of our Red Dragon family this year. Her name was Marjorie Day Carter. Class of 50, she was past president of the board of directors and our first Black female president, and she passed away in April at the age of 97 years old. To say Marjorie was impressive is an understatement. She was the first African-American teacher to be hired by the Syracuse City School District and was offered the position of instructional support specialist because of her willingness to bring new and innovative teaching methods to achieve the highest level of learning at Syracuse schools. She was active at local, state, and national levels of educational organizations. She traveled to China to bring new ideas in education and was a member of a delegation to Lesotho, Africa, to expand the educational process of the emerging country. Marjorie was presented with awards too numerous to list. In fact, that would be our whole ceremony. Just a sample includes being named a Woman of Distinction, honoring women in New York State, a Lifetime Achievement Award by the Century Club, the Post-Standard Woman of Achievement Award nominated by Senator Rachel May, a Syracuse Onondaga NAACP scholarship in her name, and like several people in this room today, a SUNY Cortland Distinguished Alum Award. Small in stature, Marjorie would often tell people she was fun size, like the candy bar. What she lacked in height, she made up for in heart. She was significantly generous in every area of alumni contributions, giving her time, expertise, and financial support, including a scholarship in her name. She was sharp as a tack and never without a smile on her face. We shared the same birthday, and she never missed sending me a card or saying, "Hello, Leo," every time we met. Please join me in sharing a moment of silence for Marjorie. Thank you very much. As is our tradition when transitioning between presidents of the SUNY Cortland Alumni Association, we ask the departing president to share a few words before ceremoniously passing the gavel to our incoming president. Please join me in welcoming outgoing President Dan Walker, class of 2006. I think there's a bow involved. Yeah.
Good morning. As I have done for every update I have provided to the board during my last 2 years as president, I'd like to start and end today with gratitude. Today, as I stand before you, I am filled with a deep sense of gratitude and pride. Serving as president of our Alumni Association has been the culminating experience in my 11 years of volunteerism to the university. Over the past 2 years, we have seen the power of this alumni network. It showed as we gathered together at Yankee Stadium to celebrate the biggest little game in the nation, and as we mobilized over 20 national viewing parties with just a week's notice to cheer on the Red Dragons as they took home the national championship. In all the time between, we have grown stronger and more connected, enhancing the student experience, creating networking and mentorship opportunities, while contributing to the success of our alma mater. I want to extend my thanks to each member of the board, our dedicated volunteers who have contributed their time, treasure, and talent. I would also be remiss if I did not take a moment to appreciate Erin Boylan, our executive director, my partner and friend, and the broader alumni engagement team that she leads, who has been the driving force executing our strategy day in and day out. To our incoming president, Dr. Flossie Bell Lomax, I am excited for you to carry forward our mission. Our strength lies in our unity and our common community. I look forward to seeing the new heights we will reach under your guidance. As I conclude, I would like to thank all of you for being here today to celebrate these distinguished alumni who best represent the reputation of Cortland across their fields. Passing the gavel from the outgoing president to the incoming president of the board is a small tradition that I'm excited to continue, and with that, I would like to invite Flossie to come up and receive the presidential gavel.
Thank you, Dan. To friends, fellow alumni, and staff and faculty of our beloved Cortland College, congratulations to all recipients of this year's Alumni Awards. What a great and honorable accomplishment that has been bestowed upon each of you. I challenge you to continue your noteworthy work in your community, which reflects so positively upon our own Cortland College. I would be remiss if I did not extend a special thank you to Dan Walker for not only for his leadership over the past few years, serving as president, but for his commitment in many other ways. Thanks, Dan. Where are you? Okay, there you are. For going the extra mile while selflessly serving in various leadership roles as an astute officer in the association, and for hosting alumni events that have all been the manifestation of excellence and example for which we should all follow. When I began my work with the Alumni Association, it marked the beginning of a new phase in my life. I had just retired from the United States Army after serving nearly 3 decades, and when I received the Distinguished Alumni Award right here at this ceremony you're attending, simultaneously I began my commitment as a board member on the Alumni Association Board of Directors. This was an exciting time for me. I put my best foot forward as I stepped into a role that I knew depended on my full involvement and dedication to serving over 88,000 plus alumni. Since that day in 2016, I have continued to get excited about working toward increasing our engagement of alum across the decades and around the world. As a devout Red Dragon, I look forward to the challenge of finding even better ways to create opportunities to support our alumni base and uphold the exemplary image of our beloved college. Plato once said that the beginning is the most important part of the work. I look forward to new beginnings and ways in which to leverage our successes and continue our legacy of outstanding service and commitment to our Red Dragon community. For the next few years, we will focus on implementing a well-thought-out, exciting DEI strategic plan that has been in the making for the past 3 years. We'll be focusing on attracting new alum and improving our tenure culture as members of the Alumni Association Board of Directors. In addition, we'll be ramping up our engagement programs to extend our reach to alums everywhere. I am asking you to pledge to join me in the work of the college and association. If you have not already done so, I encourage you to get involved with the college and association in planning alumni events, volunteering, and mentoring students. Furthermore, I invite you to support the association by attending events and staying abreast of what great things alum are doing both locally and abroad, such as our fabulous football team. There are so many ways you can pay it forward. Just contact our engagement office and they will surely find ways to use your time and talent. I look forward to working with our amazing alumni engagement office under the leadership of Aaron Boylan, who we continuously rely on to keep day-to-day operation flowing steadfast and abundantly. They need all your support to successfully enact activities scheduled by the engagement office, so please consider joining them in any way you can when they call. I want to take a moment to thank you for entrusting in me and affording me this opportunity to serve, for which I am truly grateful. I'm looking forward to the next 2 years to help catapult the SUNY Cortland Alumni Association into a new dimension of service and engagement that I hope to be the epitome of world-class service to our global communities, both locally and abroad. In closing, as the gavel is passed to me, I repledge my commitment to seeing our Alumni Association increase its reach globally and support all our students as they transition into their role as Cortland alum. I look forward to the challenge of being a leader that empowers others and leads by example to fostering a spirit of loyalty and to promote the general welfare of the Red Dragons everywhere. Enjoy the rest of your alumni weekend. Thanks for coming and safe travels home. Shall I leave this here?
Thanks, Flossie. Oh, right. Thank you, Flossie. I just want to share with you Flossie's name, one, because I need to get good at practicing this over the course of the next 2 years. But she is Dr. Flossie Bell Lomax, class of 1986, master's 1990, CAS 96. If her name alone doesn't tell you the commitment she has for Cortland, I'm not sure what else will. So, Flossie, I'm really excited to continue the great work you've already started as vice president and engage our many alumni through your leadership. Thank you. And actually, I think we need you back up here for awards. So, as often we do, we accommodated a last-minute alumni request. I have an amazing group of both Parks Alumni House and local Cortland volunteers, and one came up to me and said, please, 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 not calling anybody out, Bob, please can Chris go first because he has to go and set up an event he's hosting for, I think we were close to 100 last year, alums at his house. And I said, of course, Bob, anything for you and the Cortland and Parks Alumni House chapters. So we're gonna jump a little bit. We're gonna go right to our Outstanding Volunteer Award. The Outstanding Alumni Volunteer Award was established in 1999 to honor alumni who have been exceptional in their engagement with SUNY Cortland, donating countless hours to their time and to improving the university. Our recipient this year is Chris Perry Ciccone, class of 1974. Chris represents the SUNY Cortland Alumni Association at many university events, including at Transformation, Orientation, and Open House. A founding member of the association's Cortland chapter from 2017 to 2022, she coordinated the chapter's communication, taking over a former alumni engagement staff role. Chris has also participated in the Alumni Speaker Series, served on the annual reunion committee, and has helped with major events and volunteer upkeep at the Lynn Park 68 SUNY Cortland Alumni House. She and her husband, Richard Ciccone, the 2019 Outstanding Alumni Volunteer honoree, gladly accommodate out-of-town alumni volunteers at their Homer, New York home. I often ask, how many are at your house this weekend? And she goes, I'm not sure, but they have a great time. So please join me in congratulating Chris.
We're all new to this. Smile for a picture. Thank you. Wait, over there, face him. Oh, right. Smile. That would be helpful. Yeah.
Can you hear me? Okay, great. All right, good morning. Thank you, Aaron and everyone here who supports today's award winners. I am especially grateful to my family and close friends who are here. It is humbling to be in the company of many committed individuals who are former recipients of this award, including my husband and fellow members of the Cortland Alumni chapter. We volunteer our time and, dare I say, talents because of the amazing institution that is SUNY Cortland. Our education here has provided the foundation for highly successful careers. We have established lifelong friendships that sustain us, and we have gained new friends along the way through our involvement with SUNY Cortland. When I think back to my 4 years and what we used to call Cortland State, it is the close personal relationships and the experiences in and out of the classroom that taught us how to navigate the adult world and that constitute some of the reasons behind my volunteerism. As a student, I was able to go out to dinner with revered faculty members and residential life staff, was invited into the home of administrators, had the opportunity to engage in experiential learning, and somehow survived the crazy but exhilarating social life. My horizons were truly expanded. I met and then married my life partner. Academically, my preparation for graduate school was second to none. Lessons learned through training and experiences in RA were invaluable. Thank you, Carl Rogers, for your theories of congruence, empathy, and respect. That was then, long ago in the early 1970s. As a retiree, I am now proud to volunteer at an institution that has made great strides toward educational affordability in the 21st century and that works toward creating a campus culture that is more equitable, inclusive, and diverse. I volunteer because SUNY Cortland embraces academic freedom. I am grateful to the opportunity to work with the amazing, talented, and always positive personnel in the Office of Alumni Engagement, to be able to have personal and insightful discussions with President Eric Bitterbaum and his wife Ellen, Howard Burton, and to work with dynamic individuals such as Megan Van Duzen, who nominated me from this award and works in the Office of the Dean of Humanities and Sciences. Ultimately, though, it is the interaction with SUNY Cortland students that inspires me and my fellow volunteers. We are enriched by our interactions on campus. It is heartening to reassure parents that their child will do well at SUNY Cortland during orientation, to chat with young scholars during transformations, to share in the excitement of graduating seniors brave enough to pursue a career in education, or listen to a student grateful for the scholarship that allowed them to earn a college degree and pursue their dreams. Volunteers strive to be involved in endeavors that have impact. In the immortal words of the Beatles, well, slightly modified, we get by with a little help from our friends. Thank you for this lovely honor.
Thank you so much, Chris. when you attend events tonight, just look around because I have not a very big staff for this many people. And it's folks like Chris and Chick, many alumni volunteers, departmental volunteers that make this weekend possible, and many things that we do. So I just appreciate you both very much. I think they're our first outstanding volunteer couple. I think that comes with a sash or something like Homecoming King and Queen. So thank you. Yes, yes. Thank you, Bob. People often tell me that Bob's party is one of the highlights, and it's actually not his reunion year. So he said, "Oh, I think I'll wait another year or two." And so many alums went up to him and said, "What are you doing?" "No, it's our favorite part. You have to throw your party." So thank you, Bob. All right, going back to the original itinerary. Our next round of awards is our Distinguished Alumni Awards. I will tell you, the awards committee that selects these always tells me that I make their job very, very hard, which I have nothing to do with it. But the quality of applicants are absolutely outstanding for all of these awards. So know that you're in the midst of really phenomenal people because they are the cream of the crop. Our Distinguished Alumni Award is the Alumni Association's highest honor. Established in 1968, this award recognizes Cortland alumni for rising above in their careers and communities and/or rendering outstanding service to the university or alumni association, thus bringing credit to the alum and honor to their alma mater. Our first recipient is Rosita Stevens Hosley, class of 1965. One of the first Black professionals hired at IBM as a systems engineer, Rosita later founded a management consulting and executive search firm in Atlanta, Georgia. The awarded businesswoman and educator also directed the Regional Minority Purchasing Council in partnership with the Atlanta Chamber of Commerce and the Savannah Chamber of Commerce. Rosita also founded and has dedicated her energy to preserving Pauli Murray, LLC, a nonprofit that shares the legacy of her aunt, a civil rights legend. Rosita co-wrote her aunt's biography, Pauli Murray, the life of a pioneer feminist and civil rights activist. Please join me in congratulating Rosita.
I just met Flossie. We're both from the DMV, the District of Virginia and Maryland. Ladies and gentlemen, Red Dragons and esteemed guests, I'm honored and humbled to stand before you today as a recipient of a Distinguished Alumni Award from my alma mater, SUNY Cortland. This recognition holds a profound significance for me, not only as an individual, but also as a representative of the Murray Fitzgerald family, a family that has dedicated itself to the pursuit of justice and equality. It is also probably the first time Cortland has awarded an alum who is 82 years old and graduated 60 years ago. 82 and still going. First and foremost, I want to express my heartfelt gratitude to this institution that has grown and prospered since I left it in January of 1965. As an educator for only 20 years of my long life, I can attest to the fact that my time here has helped prepare me for the many paths my life took. I learned how to be strong in the face of adversity. I was prepared to always stand out in situations where I was not just representing my family, but my race. I learned to be patient with others who didn't know or understand my life's journey. I stand here today proud of the legacy of my aunt, the Reverend Dr. Pauli Murray, whose vision and activism continue to inspire me and countless others. Her unwavering dedication to civil rights, women's rights, and social justice serves as a guiding light in my own journey. It is a legacy that propels me forward, encouraging me to use my voice and position to affect meaningful change. I use her courage, vision, and accomplishments to motivate me daily. One of my most memorable moments in my advocacy journey was representing the National Organization for Women, NOW, as a delegate to the the United Nations Commission on the Status of Women last year. The experience was transformative, opening my eyes to the global challenges faced by women and the urgent need for collective action. It reinforced my belief that it is vital for women, especially Black women, to actively engage with UN women's programs worldwide, as they provide critical platforms for advocating gender equality on an international scale. Today, as we celebrate this honor, let us not forget the power of collective effort. Under my aunt's guidance with Betty Friedan, principals and co-founders of the National Organization for Women, their early work in the 60s paved the way for a more equitable and just society. I would also like to express my gratitude to my niece, Rhea Aiken, who has been a constant source of support and inspiration throughout my Pauli Murray journey. Her unwavering belief in me has inspired and strengthened my resolve. I cannot accept this award without acknowledging the organizations I'm affiliated with that support the enhancement of Pauli Murray's life work. The Pauli Murray Center for History and Social Justice in Durham, North Carolina, the National Women's History Alliance on the West Coast, and the Reverend Dr. Pauli Murray chapter of the Union of Black Episcopalians in Maryland. All three of these organizations have embraced my goals of uplifting my aunt's legacy and support and enhanced my efforts. Let this award be a call to action, a reminder that our work is far from finished. For me, this is a reminder that I must continue to advocate for the rights of all women, especially those facing intersecting forms of discrimination. Our fight for equality must be inclusive, recognizing and addressing the unique struggles faced by marginalized communities. In the poem Dark Testament by my aunt, Pauli Murray wrote, "I speak for my race and my people, the human race and just people. Only recently has she been recognized for her tireless work. Some of you may have noticed her face on a recently released 2024 quarter from the U.S. Mint. Aunt Pauli is regarded as one of the most important social justice advocates of the 20th century, even though you probably never heard of her. Her 1950 book, State Laws on Race and Color, was distributed to law libraries, universities, and human rights organizations. It exposed the extent and absurdity of segregation and was important in the Supreme Court case Brown versus the Board of Education. In 1966, Murray joined Betty Friedan and others to found the National Organization for Women, but later relinquished a leading role, believing the issues of Black women and working class women were not adequately addressed by the organization. Later, she became the first Black woman to be ordained as an Episcopal priest in 1977. It is not lost on me that many of you sitting before me do not know about this hidden figure, Reverend Dr. Pauli Murray. Her name was omitted from our textbooks. It is because of her that I stand before you today. I am very proud that I'm able to contribute to giving Aunt Pauli the recognition that she always deserved but never really received, and that the SUNY Cortland Alumni Association has taken notice. It is my hope that my aunt would be proud of me and all social justice warriors who carry her legacy and the legacies of the heroes and sheroes whose shoulders we stand upon today. I accept this distinguished alumni award with a deep sense of gratitude and responsibility as a loving niece and representative of my aunt's legacy, as an advocate for gender equality, and as a voice for the countless women whose stories deserve to be heard. Let us remain steadfast in our commitment to progress, supporting one another as we strive for a more equitable and just world. Thank you, SUNY Cortland and the Alumni Association Award Selection Committee, for this tremendous honor. Together, let us continue to break barriers, uplift voices, and build a future that embraces the principles of equality, justice, and empowerment for all. I have a special token of appreciation, hopefully for each of you. I wasn't quite sure how many people would be here, but my niece will have Pauli Murray quarters, which are spendable. But of course, I'll never use one to spend or buy anything. And she will stand, and until they run out, everyone will get a quarter. Also some information of the childhood home where she grew up. It's the Pauli Murray Center for History and Social Justice. And in 2026, it became a National Historic Landmark. It's in Durham, North Carolina. My niece and I have been working as volunteers and board members to help bring this center to Durham, North Carolina, and the whole world. And it will open officially this September 7th. So this is a fabulous year for Pauli Murray, and I appreciate your time and listening. We'll also have a sign-up sheet if we run out of quarters. I will send you one in the mail if you'll give us your information.
Congratulations again, Rosita. Thank you for sharing your aunt's inspiring legacy with not just this room, but with so many of us. And I think there's something very beautiful that your niece is here with you today. So thank you very much for your important words. Whew. Our next distinguished alumni recipient is Robert Bookman, class of '76. In Florida, Rob supported farm workers and poor rural families through a poverty law program, successfully suing a local housing authority for maintaining racially separate wait lists. In his native New York City, he protected citizens from predatory businesses as a counsel at the Department of Consumer Affairs. As a partner in private practice, he represented small businesses and entrepreneurs, including the historic Stonewall Inn in Greenwich Village. He then served as a counsel and co-founder to the New York Nightlife Association and currently as counsel to its successor, the New York Hospitality Alliance, one of the largest trade associations for restaurants and bars in the country. As an alum, Rob serves on the Cortland College Alumni, I'm so used to saying that, Cortland College Foundation Board of Directors. He created an annual scholarship to support a student government leader who has been a steadfast advocate for aiding the university's neediest students. Please join me in congratulating Rob.
Rosita, that's a very tough act to follow. Let's all make sure we keep moving forward and not backwards and vote in November. I have to say this is very cool and very meaningful to me. I want to start by thanking the Alumni Association and its committee for this prestigious recognition, as well as my freshman year buddy Kevin Keegan, right back there, who nominated me for this award. Kevin and I have reunited after many, many years. We served together on the foundation board with other class of 76 friends, and it's a very, very meaningful volunteer experience. It's hard to believe that many of us met for the first time over 50 years ago. It's also hard to believe that my legal career has now spanned 45 years without ever having a full month off, as my wife Kathy likes to remind me. It just seems like yesterday that my first business card at Florida Rural Legal Services said attorney on one side and abogado on the other. As you just heard, I've had a very fulfilling career, and I hope that I've made a positive impact in people's lives and that I have helped to affect change in the service of others. To me, that's what being a lawyer is all about. From representing farm workers denied their wages and access to hospitals, to suing to end racial discrimination in public housing, to protecting consumers from unconscionable deceptive trade practices, to organizing and representing small business owners. I have tried hard to amplify the voices of those who are otherwise not heard. As a result, they were heard, and a long list of victories ensued. I also had lots of fun representing so many iconic clubs, bars, and restaurants over the decades. It's not just hard work. The Limelight, the Palladium, the Stonewall Inn, Wetlands, Coney Island High, Carmine's, Tao, famous chefs, Bobby Flay, David Boulay, Daniel Boulud. Yes, I've never had to wait in a line to get in or worry about getting a reservation. But on a more serious note, working with all levels of government, and I mean all levels of government, during the COVID crisis to save the hospitality industry in New York City was a singular career accomplishment. In reflecting about what I wanted to say to you today, I have concluded, and it's a theme that you've already heard, that you can draw a straight line from your time here in Cortland to where you are here today. Not only were lifelong friendships created, and you can see and hear many of them today who came from all parts of the country to be with me this weekend and help celebrate together. I thank you. And I know others feel this way, as I've spoken over the weekend with others, that we were given an opportunity here to live to our full potential. I remember fondly many professors, Joel Shatsky, Victor Bayhu, Judy Brownell, and especially Frank Burdick from my history department major, who insisted that I work harder and not just slide by in my academics. When Professor Burdick reviewed my draft original research paper, he gave it back to me and said, "You could do better." So I worked on it over the summer, and when I did better, he was so pleased with the result that he wrote a letter to my parents that when they passed away and I went through their belongings, they saved it, and I still have it today. It's amazing the influence that a teacher can have on your life. And we at Cortland could be proud that we produce some of the best teachers in the country. Two of my friends who are teachers are here today, Tom and Rich. Please stand up. But Cortland was special to me and many of my friends also because of the opportunities we had to grow in extracurricular activities that we were all so involved with. The newspaper run by George and Fritz, college singers which we're involved in, and the radio station, AM and FM, which was so important in our lives back then. And I am so thrilled that we have the alumni from that golden era here today when the station went FM, and we're going to be celebrating them 2 years from now. Corey, Mike, Mary, Amy, Lori, Rob, Bob, Rich. Please all stand up. And these people turned it into an FM station. And of course, student government, where I spent the bulk of my time. It turns out that it was excellent training for my career in advocacy. Back then, we did not have great relationships with the administration, and we fought for everything. So much that I have created a modest scholarship, as was mentioned, for a student government leader who may otherwise not be able to afford to put the time in due to financial need. It's a part-time job working in student government. And I want to thank someone special for seeing me as a leader early in my freshman year and getting me involved before I thought I was ready. Our student government president, the elusive and inspiring Larry Summers, who I recently connected with on Facebook and is here today. To my knowledge, Larry was the only one who was president of student government for 2 years in a row. And back then, that really created some gravitas to the position. Finally, I found my work on the Cortland College Foundation Board to be extremely meaningful and fulfilling, giving back time and, yes, money, pause, to, want to make sure you all got that message, to the students today who need it as much as we did back then. It's a wonderful experience. Like all of us back then, today's Cortland students are not rich or well-connected. No one gave us careers. We earned them ourselves. And many of us, as it turns out, started those careers without even knowing it right here in Cortland. So lastly, I want to thank my life partner, my best friend, my beautiful and special wife, Kathy, who's always encouraged my legal career and has always been proud of my accomplishments and is particularly proud of my volunteer work here. And our most important accomplishments, our 3 children, our granddaughter, and one more on the way any day. So thank you all so much.
Congratulations again, Rob. Our next distinguished alumni recipient is Kevin Conley, class of '90. Kevin has risen from athletic trainer to department chair to associate dean for undergraduate studies at University of Pittsburgh School of Health and Rehabilitation Sciences. Nominators assert he has demonstrated a strong commitment to students and to the professional development of faculty and served in numerous leadership roles. This year, he was selected as one of 5 faculty representatives to be part of the Atlantic Coast Conference Academic Leaders Network. Please join me in congratulating Kevin.
Well, thank you all very much. I'm grateful to be here today. It's so great to be back on campus. I arrived here with my family last night. We got to drive around the campus, and it brought back a flood of memories. The campus obviously has gone through tremendous transformation since 1990, and it's great to see the progress that the college has made. And I want to give a lot of credit to President Bitterbaum for all the work that he has done to put us where we are today. So thank you very much. I also want to congratulate my fellow awardees. It's an honor to stand here with you, and want to congratulate you all on all of your accomplishments. This is obviously an opportunity for me to give thanks. This is, the reason I'm here is for the people that are in this room supporting me, and so I want to take a moment to do that. First, to Aaron Boylan and the staff from the SUNY Cortland Alumni Association, thank you for all the work that you do throughout the year to cultivate alumni relationships and also build affinity for our alma mater. Also to the Distinguished Alumni Selection Committee, I'm humbled and grateful that you saw something in my application that allows me to be standing here today, so thank you. To my athletic training classmates from the class of 1990 and those that came before and after me, we constantly pushed one another to better ourselves and set a high level of expectation for our future. So I'm grateful to all of my athletic training colleagues. To my current colleagues at the University of Pittsburgh in the School of Health and Rehabilitation Sciences, I get to go to work every day and work with some outstanding individuals, tremendous educators, world-renowned researchers, and they push me every day to be my best. In particular, I want to thank Dr. Kathy Kelly and Dr. Tom Platt, who I work extensively with. They were the two people who nominated me for this award. And I'm very grateful for the example that they set for me to constantly be pursuing excellence. In so many ways, I want to also thank the 600+ students who I've had the opportunity to advise and mentor over the course of my 32 years at the University of Pittsburgh. These are the people who motivate me the most to be my best, and it's where I find my greatest satisfaction in working with them. And I learned that, as several others have mentioned here, in learning how to be a teacher here at Cortland, it's given me that opportunity to think back and be blessed that these students have impacted me in such a way. They've lifted me up and inspired me in countless ways, and their individual and collective successes mean more to me than anything. I also want to thank the amazing faculty I was fortunate to be surrounded by while I was here at Cortland, starting with our program director at that time, Dr. John Catone, who recently retired as the Dean of the School of Professional Studies. And John, very grateful that you're able to be here today. You've impacted my life in more ways than you can imagine, and I'm very grateful that you were here. Also want to thank the other faculty who were here at the time, Dave Boylan, Beth Griffin, Heidi Zini, and Linda Trevisano, who all had a tremendous impact on my growth as an athletic trainer, but as a person and as an educator as well. Finally, to my family for all their support. I want to thank my mom and dad for all the sacrifices that you made for me to be here, to come to this amazing place. I think we can say that we had a great return on the investment, so thank you. My two sisters, Christine, who, she doesn't know this, but I secretly wanted to be just like her. I was originally pursuing a degree in physical therapy. She's a physical therapist, and that was the route I was taking until athletic training came along. So I want to thank Chris for her amazing example, and my sister Colleen, who is also a Cortland alum as well. So thank you for being here today. My sister-in-law Sue is here today. I want to thank her for being here. She's a strong presence for our family. And my two nieces, Claire and Molly, thank you very much for being here. Of course, I want to thank my wife Denise, if I don't want to walk home back to Pittsburgh. So, but obviously, you mean everything to me. You've been a blessing in my life, and I'm so thankful for your constant, unconditional support and love, so thank you. And lastly, to my son and daughter, Hayden and Stella, you're my inspiration for wanting to be a better dad and a better person every day. So thank you very much for this honor. It truly means more to me than I can say, so thank you.
Congratulations again, Kevin. Our next recipient, Stacy, unfortunately had a family issue arise, so we're going to present her award in 2025. So something to look forward to. Mark it on your calendars. Come back. Our next distinguished alum recipient is Minerva Francis Nelson, class of 2005. Minerva earned a doctorate in health education and behavioral science from Columbia University. At New York University, she served as a predoctoral fellow behavioral scientist from 2018 to 2021, developing her knowledge and skills in drug use research. She now serves as the managing director for the New York City Louis Stokes Alliance for Minority Participation, recruiting more than 50 volunteer faculty mentors and 125 undergrads for STEM fields research. Since 2022, she has held a postdoctoral fellowship for the Partnership to End Addiction, a New York City program that provides physical and mental health services. A certified health education specialist, she is a board member of SUNY Cortland Sophia's Gardens Institute, which seeks to introduce philosophy concepts to young students. Please join me in congratulating Minerva.
It's still morning. Thank you for that introduction. I was over there scrambling notes in terms of what I was going to say, but I knew that my time up here would be one of gratitude. And so I thank you all for being here. I heard some folks came all the way from Nigeria. That's dedication, okay? So thank you. So again, greetings everyone. It is an honor to be here, and I'm going to tell a little story, perhaps a few of them. And one of the best storytellers that I've learned is President Bitterbaum. That's something that I learned and I've emulated over the time. So acknowledgments to you, President Bitterbaum, to your wife, to Amy Dahlman, to Bonnie Hodges, to Mecca Nagel, to all of you. So it's been a long time since I've been here, and so I'm going to begin with what happened last night. I and my family, we arrived almost around 3 a.m., and I decided that we were going to stay in Glass Tower due to the nostalgia, right? And the price point. So lo and behold, I could not get into the building because of the odd hour. So I ended up having to call University Police, UPD. Officer Morris, who I told him, I'm gonna mention you in my speech tomorrow. I said, my name is Minerva, and I told him the story. And then he asked me again, and then I became formal, and I said, I'm Dr. Minerva Francis. And do you know what he said to me? He said, which one is your first name? And I couldn't help but think that if I told him my name was Mr. Jack Daniels, would he then ask me what is my first name? Anyhow, all seemed to work out. So thank you, Jessica, who is the residential area director. She is perhaps one of the nicest people that I've met at 3 a.m. on campus, okay? Very approachable. So now, fast forward to what has brought me here and what has helped to develop my leadership. And now that I'm seeing faces that I didn't know I was going to see, like what I was gonna say has totally changed. But shout out to you, Amy, because it was Amy of EOP who I was a proud member, so do not sleep on the educational opportunity programs. You get a return on your investment, your tax dollars work, okay? So thank you, Amy. Do not sleep on community colleges because it was a community college, the 2+2 program, that helped me to get an associate's degree, then transfer over to Cortland. So thank you. I got my associate's and my bachelor's. And in the words of Drake, I started from the bottom, and now I'm here with my doctorate, okay? One of the most memorable moments of leadership occurred during my junior year of college. That was personally difficult for me due to the passing of my mother. However, I persevered and pioneered to attend one of the first study abroad programs in Kenya. And the pathway that led me to that moment was when I was at a Black student union. It might have been an annual party. It was the first time I actually went out. And President Bitterbaum was there. Very visible president. Great example of visible leadership. Very approachable, right? He was there, and I don't know how I ended up speaking with him, but I do know that someone had took my seat at the table that I was going to sit at. And so I ended up just running into him, perhaps. And so I ended up telling President Bitterbaum that I wanted to go to Africa. He then told me, oh, there's a staff member who just came from there. And I'm like, almost break my neck. Who? And it was Mecca Nago. Mecca, I have to give you an applause, right? She has been a champion for me. And so, thank you, Mecca. Long story short, the ideal of me going to Africa came when I was being inducted into the Eta Sigma Gamma Honor Society for Health Educators. And Dr. Bonnie Hodges, I don't see where you're at right now, but she, there she is, wonderful. But she gave this keynote speech that talked about getting out of their comfort zone. And I knew I still needed to do my internship. And so with her words coalescing, and then me eventually meeting President Bitterbaum, who then introduced me to Mecca Nago, who then introduced me to the unformidable Dr. George Jones, who is an alumni here, distinguished alumni. He lives in Kenya, but is American-born. Everything came together for me to, again, become the first student to go to Africa on an internship. So, during that time, I worked with United Nations High Commission Refugees, UNHCR, USAID, and I assisted people who were victims of torture, and I ended up working to create a pilot support group for women who were impacted by HIV. So being over there, it really expanded my worldview. And in one instance, here in America, if you have a bag of chips, you usually eat your whole bag of chips to yourself, right? Because you just can't eat one, right? There, I learned that one little bag of chips that's now 50 cents, but it used to be 25, thank you, inflation, right? It was shared. A little bag of chip was shared. And so just little instances like that really expand my worldview. And that is what has colored, my learning and informed the way that I interact with regards to diversity, inclusion, belonging, and equity. So with that said, it's an honor to stand here before you. I have to give thanks to my family. Thank you to my husband. He helped me tremendously as I was a doctoral student, and I had 2 kids in the program. Whew. Thank you, Mark. I like to thank my dad and my sister for supporting me with childcare, with words of encouragement, and for just always being here with me. And I would like to rewind back to nostalgia. One of the last times that I was here, I had just gotten back from Kenya, and I think his name might have been Joe Sanders. He's no longer here, but he was in charge of like the diversity office. And he had asked me to speak impromptu, and so I was like, okay. So I did it for graduation, and my paternal grandmother was here, and I remember her whispering in my ear in this very room that she was so proud of me and that she loves me. And so to be back in this room with my two children, Mosiah and Maya, is just remarkable. So thank you, SUNY Cortland. Thank you, Alumni Association. Thank you, AJ. Thank you, Aaron Boyd. I don't know who else I'm not thanking, but if I've crossed paths with you, thank you for the interaction. And so I like to say, go Dragons!
Congratulations again, Minerva. I am so sorry for your bumpy start to your weekend, but hopefully it will be smooth sailing from here, but thank you very much. Okay, 2 more awards before you get a break from me, because my spouse will tell you no one wants to hear me speak this much. Our next awards are the Rising Star Awards. Created in 1977 and formally named the Distinguished Young Alum Award, honorees must have graduated in the past 10 years. This award seeks to recognize Cortland alumni for distinguishing themselves in their careers and communities. Our first recipient is Savannah Brancato, class of 2020. Savannah currently serves as an electron microscopy technologist and lab manager in Emory's Laboratory of Biochemical Pharmacology. Her work helps push the boundaries of sample preparation and electron microscopy to generate high-resolution viral protein structures relating to research on HIV and other retroviruses. 4 years ago, she co-founded the Genuine Project, a 501c3 nonprofit organization whose purpose is to support charitable initiatives worldwide. Already, the group has helped a community in Cape Coast, Ghana, achieving a public restroom facility serving 1,000 residents. Please join me in congratulating Savannah.
Hello, thank you all so much, and thank you especially to the Alumni Association and to Bruce Mattingly, Cortland's Dean of Arts and Sciences, for nominating me. I met Bruce while playing in the university's Rock and Blues Ensemble, a band made up of students, faculty, and staff. We've kept in touch ever since, and he's been incredibly supportive and encouraging. The rock band was a highlight of my time at Cortland, and not many people can say that they've had the opportunity to jam out to oldies alongside their dean, who, by the way, can absolutely shred it on the keys. From a molecular scale to a global scale, Cortland is also the foundation of some of my more recent career and personal highlights. Dr. Catherine Hicks of Cortland's chemistry department was a major contributor. Her biochemistry classes and research sparked my curiosity and enabled me to understand the world on a molecular level. I spent 2 years as an undergraduate research fellow in her lab, studying bacterial enzymes with applications to bioremediation. It was incredibly encouraging to learn from and be mentored by a young female in sciences. The work I did with Dr. Hicks launched my career in academic research. After graduating from Cortland in 2020, I began working as a technician in the lab of Dr. Rob Dick at Cornell University. A year ago, I was promoted within the lab to electron microscopy technologist and helped move the lab across the country from Cornell to Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia. At Emory, we've continued structural virology research through the Lab of Biochemical Pharmacology's Center for Viral Research and Cure. With focus on HIV, we aim to further understand the molecular mechanisms of viruses and their interactions with host cells. Much of our recent work focuses on characterizing how anti-HIV drugs interact with and affect viruses in order to drive the development of more effective compounds. On a global scale, Cortland was the starting point of the nonprofit I co-founded and run with friends. In addition to the time I spent doing research at Cortland, I also helped run a student organization with a close friend. Cortland provided our club the space and resources to plan theoretical, self-sustaining societies and gain internship credit while at it. After graduating, I was contacted by the same friend who started the club and who had also studied in Ghana through Cortland's international program. The two of us, along with like-minded individuals from Ghana, made the theoretical concepts fostered at Cortland a reality. In 2021, our initially small team developed a 501c3 nonprofit, the Genuine Project, built on the principle of supporting community-initiated and driven improvement projects. The Genuine Project gains insight about local issues from the people actually affected by them and supports the community in developing and implementing sustainable solutions. We help people help themselves. Our first project is based in the pseudo community in Cape Coast, Ghana, where myself and the Genuine Project's founding team walked around in the summer of 2021 and talked to as many people as possible. Almost everyone we spoke with mentioned poor sanitation due to a lack of restrooms in the area. Very few households have toilets in them, and the few existing public facilities are not well maintained. This leaves many people with no option but to relieve themselves in the open underbrush, leaving the community vulnerable to disease. Based on these understandings, the Genuine Project partnered with the Pseudo Assembly, chief elders, artisans, universities, and community volunteers to construct a brand new public toilet facility, the Pseudo Sanitation Initiative. We continually engaged the pseudo community to consider their ideas, confirm their support, and create solutions that will be sustainable for the long run. We also formed a fellowship program with Cape Coast Technical University. Through their support of the Pseudo Sanitation Initiative, students gained hands-on experience in electrical, plumbing, engineering, construction, and other technical fields while gaining university credit. Incredibly, this project was completely funded by donations, the majority of which came from my direct friends and family. I'm so delighted and proud to announce that on June 22nd of this year, just a few weeks ago, the Pseudo Sanitation Initiative public restroom facility was officially commissioned and open to the public. The toilets have quickly become an essential community resource. In its first week alone, the facility was utilized over 1,200 times, demonstrating its immediate impact on public health and convenience. This accomplishment underscores the effectiveness of community collaboration in addressing local changes. Looking ahead, the Genuine Project remains committed to expanding our impact and supporting community-driven projects in Cape Coast, Ghana, and beyond. Again, a huge thank you to SUNY Cortland. It all began here. And last but not least, I'd like to thank my parents for being the most consistent and supportive aspect of my life and for patiently awaiting the day I decide to move back to New York.
Congratulations again, Savannah. I was chatting with her family before the awards, and she's a 2020 graduate, which, remember, there was a little thing going on. So her mom said this is also her graduation ceremony. So if you see her downtown, say congratulations. Our next Rising Star recipient is Natalie Yoder, class of 2021. A 2020-21 Outstanding Student Leader Award honoree, Natalie graduated magna cum laude with a bachelor's degree in anthropology and a minor in international studies. As the Fitzgerald Hall Director since August 2022, Yoder has applied her identity as a biracial student to her work and also facilitated a Rethinking Abilities workshop and advised the Student Activities Office. She studied abroad in Mangalore, India, with her research results published in the St. Aloysius College Journal. She also volunteered in 2016 and 17 in Tanzania and Bali to prepare and work to promote cultural diversity and ecosystem restoration, restore coral reefs, provide HIV education, and teach English. Upon graduation, Natalie interned with Eswati with the Executive Director of the Aspire African Communities Meshlo Foundation to facilitate construction of a new school for students with cognitive impairments. Please join me in congratulating Natalie.
Can everybody hear me? I'm a little soft-spoken, but my mother is a teacher, so I do have the teacher voice sometimes. So if you need me to, I can speak a little louder. So I would like to thank everybody for letting me be here today and have just a little bit of talk of thanks. You'd think that after being on a plane for over 20 hours coming from Malawi, after Erin told me I had to speak, I would have come up with something. Probably not as good as everybody else, but I will try my hardest. So I would first like to say thank you to my past hall director, Cernius Fitz-John, for nominating me for this award, but also recognizing me and the potential that I had, not only as a young RA, but also a professional here on campus as an area coordinator and a hall director. I am incredibly honored and humbled to be standing here finally today to receive the Rising Star Award. This institution has paved many paths that I have taken in my life, and the biggest path being in residence life and housing for the last probably 4 years. So I would like to thank this institution, Bitterbaum and Ellen, thank you so much. But also, it has been an honor and a privilege to represent our students of color and faculty on this campus in the job and role that I have today, and being able to create a space where all are welcome for who they are. I haven't, and I wouldn't have been able to do that if it weren't have been for the 3 most important people in my life. My grandmother, Irene Steris, who I believe is watching, hopefully. She couldn't make it. She's 91, but she's got a punch, let me tell you. So thank you so much to my grandmother, who has constantly supported me every single year from the moment that I was born to now. She never really wanted me to ever really go and leave this country and go to Africa, but she's always very, very supported me in my passions and the drive that I have for the communities that I've been able to see. And thank you also more specifically in letting me know how big education means, not only as a woman, but an individual in this country. So thank you so much. Secondly, I would like to thank my father, Scott Yoder, who has changed my life in many ways. You changed my life the day you told me that we were moving to a developing country called Azerbaijan. When I was only 11, my whole coolness at school went down. Had no idea. I didn't even know where this place was on a map. Couldn't find it, had no idea. But without that move and living overseas, I would have never been the woman who I am today. You have taught me that the world is so much more than black and white, and that there's so many different colors that I have to experience in the world. Thank you for giving me the tools to be able to make it on my own and know that I don't need a man in my life to fix things. So I can fix a tire. If you need me to help you fix a tire, I can do that. I can do a couple things, got me in my own toolbox. So thank you so much for being that individual in my life who has made me be able to stand on my own 2 feet. Last but not least, I would like to thank my mother, Donna Steris. Thank you for introducing me to your school as an alum and sharing the best years of your life that you had here at SUNY Cortland. Thank you for never letting me forget my roots, always pushing me to make a mark and be proud as a Black woman. Without you, I would have never found my passion for women and reproductive health on that short trip to Tanzania in 2016, and I would have never been able to not go back. Thank you for pushing me to continually go every single year, always back, and thank you for pushing me to finally get my master's and start that in Master's of Science of Global Health. You have taught me how to be a strong, independent, and unapologetic, I cannot speak, and just to be me. Clearly I cannot talk. Thank you for giving me the tools to be an educator when I said that I would have never been an educator, for bringing me on this campus and being the greatest thing that I've seen for myself. Without you, I would have not been able to be a great area coordinator and have those passions that I have had for my students. So thank you for the people who are here today. Congratulations to everyone, and thank you for your time.
Congratulations again, Natalie. It's now my honor to introduce you to Kayla Sewer. She's class of 2022, and she's also our Associate Director of Annual Giving.
Hi, everyone. Every year, our featured reunion class years and groups participate in a friendly giving competition to see who among them can collectively make the largest gift, the largest unrestricted gift, or reach the highest percentage of participation in giving. Over the past year, the classes and groups that we're celebrating today worked hard, continuously, and generously to win the following awards: the Cortland Cup, the Foundation Director's Cup, and the President's Cup. The Cortland Cup is awarded to the class or group which contributes the largest total gift to SUNY Cortland. Our 2024 Alumni Reunion Giving Competition Cortland Cup winner is class of 1979. Congratulations, class of 1979. The Foundation Director's Cup is awarded to the class or group which contributes the largest total unrestricted gift to SUNY Cortland. Our 2024 Alumni Reunion Giving Competition Foundation Director's Cup winner is the Alpha Sigma Alpha Sigma Alpha sorority. Congratulations. The President's Cup is awarded to the class or group with the highest percentage of participation in giving to SUNY Cortland. Our 2024 Alumni Reunion Giving Competition President's Cup winner is the Student Activities Board Board of Governors. Congratulations. A big congratulations and even bigger thank you to all of our winners. As we always say, as fun as these competitions can be, the true winners are our students. Current and future Red Dragons have and will continue to benefit from the kindness and generosity that all our alumni have shown, allowing them to enjoy each moment and cherish every memory. Thank you so much again to all our winners and to those who have donated to this year's reunion giving competition. And with that, I'll turn it back over to Erin. Thank you.
Thanks, Kayla. 4 more awardees. Our next round of awards are Distinguished Educator. Introduced in 2018, the Alumni Association's Distinguished Educator Award recognizes Cortland alumni for rendering outstanding services to the educational field. Our first recipient is Jay Kimanichik, or Dr. Jay, he said I could share. Jay is an associate professor of kinesiology at Miami University in Ohio since 1990. He was honored in 2014-15 with the University College of Education Health and Society Richard T. Delp Outstanding Faculty Award. His scholarship has positioned him as one of the nation's foremost experts in the area of well-being and performance theory and practice, as exemplified by his 2023 co-authored book, Exploring the Concept of Feel for Well-Being and Performance. Jay's wellness message also travels beyond the walls of academia as his students engage in community hands-on teaching and learning, and he develops public lectures, television programming, and personal fitness manuals used in hundreds of YMWCAs. Please join me in congratulating Jay.
All right. How's everybody doing? I have to say, yeah, please call me Dr. J, because no one can say Kimichik. It's Polish from the old country. So I'm blown away. I have to say, I've been in higher education almost all of my adult life, except for one small experience where I was a sports writer. And basically, I worked for the Times-Herald Record. Now, the last time I was here was many years ago. Can anyone remember, who's old enough, can you remember where you were on November 16th, 1985? No, but I do, because my grandmother, and I know a couple of folks thanked their grandmother, right? So my grandmother, when I was a sports writer, she saved every article I ever wrote for the Times-Herald Record. This is one of them, and on November 16th, 1985, my wife Kim, who wasn't my wife then, but she ventured up. For those that don't know, the Times-Herald Record is in Middletown, New York. So we came up to Cortland on November 16, 1985. I was going to cover the high school girls soccer championship, which featured my former high school team, the Seward Spartans. Maybe some of you have heard of them, probably not. But anyway, they're from Florida, New York, which is downstate in Orange County. So we came up, and the game basically was canceled because of an ice storm in Cortland on November 16, 1985. And my grandmother, who saved all of the articles, saved this and sent it to me. Notice how she even taped together the pages so that I would have these, and I keep all of these. And it basically says, tainted title for Seward girls. Brutal storm cancels title game. Spartans Worcestershire State soccer crown. So both teams shared. And just to show you that, it was probably good that I didn't stay in sports writing and moved into higher education. This is one quick paragraph. The decision was made shortly after two girls from Cold Spring Harbor had to be carried from the field during the Class C match because they could not move. One of the girls had to be treated for hypothermia at the university's training center. Her condition was not known late last night. So, sorry to those girls, but I wrote that, and so like, oh well. But anyway, so that is where I was on November 16, 1985, the last time that I have been to Cortland until today. And so I really appreciate you having me back. And I have to say also, Kim and I stayed in Ithaca. All the hotels really weren't available by the time we got our act together. And on the drive up to Cortland from Ithaca, I didn't say this to Kim, I don't think, but I was looking out over the green kind of hills and so forth, and I said to myself, I love New York. So I hope you come back. I haven't been able to make it back. I'm out in Ohio at Miami University. So one quick thing again. So people sometimes ask me, well, where do you teach? I say I teach at Miami University. Oh, they go, in Florida? No, but I was born there and raised in Florida, and then they get all confused. But anyway, so I better get going. But I have to say again, I'm blown away by the Alumni Awards, and Bob, you talked about fulfilling our potential. You mentioned that Cortland, and that's really what I've been interested in my whole life, is how do we fulfill our potential for everyone in terms of how we do that. And so anyway, it's good to be back. Thanks for everyone for coming, and really thank AJ and Aaron for their support and getting me here. All the award winners are incredible. All right, so I also want to congratulate President Bitterbaum, who I have never met, but in doing some of my past reporter research, I found out that you were recognized as a New York trailblazer. So whenever I see the word trailblazer, I'm immediately impressed, and we do need that in higher education. Being a president over 20 years at the same institution is an amazing accomplishment, really, and us Cortlanders have been very fortunate to have you as our leader, so thanks again. And it makes me proud to be a Red Dragon, again, especially after the football team, which has been mentioned, won first ever national championship. So I have to thank a few people because I always forget. And I usually don't read. I'm usually off the cuff. Students usually say in my evaluations, well, I wish Dr. J would be a little bit more organized, but we really love his stories. So I don't know if that's good or bad, but so on a personal level, I have to thank Kim, my beautiful wife who's sitting and came with me. Could you please give her a round of applause because she does not get enough credit, especially when for the umpteenth time I said, I'm heading to the office. And so also my deceased parents, John and Dorothy, they would have been very proud. I come from fairly humble beginnings. Both sets of my grandparents were onion farmers in the rich, fertile land of Orange County. And so they would have been very proud to see their son up here. I have two children, Colin, who is a teacher coach. I know you're a teacher coach in Indiana. And Carly, and I know we have other public health folks here, just earned her PhD from Purdue and will actually be coming to work at Miami University. So there will be two Kmieciks at Miami, which is really going to make people very confused, which I like. Also, my sister Sandy is an '82 Cortland grad who taught for many years elementary physical education at Orange County and earned her doctorate from Columbia while she was doing that. And then my siblings, Kathy and Greg, and my in-laws, Bill and Carolyn, shout out to them who have been very supportive over the years. So before I get quickly into kind of a couple of stories about while I was here, I just want to say that what do I do? I'm interested in the human experience as it relates to optimal well-being. So that's what I've spent my entire life doing. When people say, well, how do you do that? I say, I don't really know. I'm very eclectic. I like to write books and articles, and I'm just all over the place, but that's just who I am, and I've stopped apologizing for it. So at least someone appreciated it, so that's why I'm here. All right, so I'll try to make this relatively quick. I came to Cortland in fall of 1978. Someone else mentioned the community college. I am a graduate of SUNY Orange, used to be Orange County Community College. I went there for 2 years. Quick shout out to Dr. Nancy Warner, who believed in me when a lot of folks thought I was goofy and really wasn't going to amount to much. When I arrived here, we were really overcrowded, and I was stuck in a room with a freshman. So I was a junior, freshman. His name was John Grant. I had no clue what I was doing. He had no clue what he was doing. So we were a good match, and he became a lawyer and a judge in Rockland County, and so anything is possible. Thanks, John. In looking back, my 2 years at Cortland formed the rest of my life. I really didn't realize it at the time, but it really did, and I'll tell you why. My professors and instructors were passionate and challenging, academically and physically. And I remember Dr. Tomic, Dr. Taberzi, Tom Steele. These people were passionate and they were challenging. Because people used to say, oh, physical education. Well, let me tell you, in the classroom, really hard. Try to do all those activity classes, really hard. I had world-class coaches in those classes. Dr. Eric Malmberg, he taught us how to walk on our hands. Walk on our hands. I mean, across the whole mat. Pete Cahill made me come on a Saturday morning to practice some kind of frog kick, or I was going to fail the class, because I can't swim very well, as Kim will attest to. And then Fred Talby, the Wallaces, Joe Pearson, they challenged me to use my body and mind that has really gone for over the next 45 years. You also want more challenge? How about the 2-week required outdoor education practicum that we all had to take? I still remember watching Vince Ganino canoe into the lodge and thought he was the biggest man I had ever seen. During that time, I also met Chris Cardone, an '82 grad. And after portaging canoes together through the black fly-infested woods, we became close friends. We have stayed in touch for many years. Chris recently retired as head boys basketball coach at Irondequoit in Rochester with 523 wins and 1 state championship. So could he be a Cortland Hall of Famer? Maybe. So anyway, this brings me to really the end of my most transformative experiences here as part of Cortland. In the fall of 1979, I began my teaching field experience. Back then it was 8 weeks. It's now a full semester, I believe. It's gotten a lot better, I'm sure. But in fall of 1979, I began my field experience in Mamaroneck, New York. I lived with Ken and Claire Demas. They have both passed away, sadly. They were not Cortland grads, but they went out of the way to make me feel at home. They were truly 2 of the finest human beings I had ever met. I recently found that New York State Future Professional Leadership Academy is named in the honor of Ken Demas, which is very appropriate. He was a devoted teacher, coach, and a leader in the physical education profession. So those weeks where I was living with the Demases, who were educators, truly made me understand what it means to be an educator. My father was an English teacher for 30 years, but I didn't really know it until I lived there. So my most profound experience came with student teaching mentors, and these were my supervisors: John Teller, Dave Warren, and Jim Codispodi. They were all Cortland grads, John Teller moved to North Carolina years later and was named the National South Region Coach of the Year in girls soccer. Dave Warren is in the Section 1 Wrestling Hall of Fame. He's only the 5th referee to be inducted. And Jim Codispodi is in the Cortland Club Hall of Fame. So think about this. I had John Teller, Dave Warren, Jim Codispodi in this 8-week period. They blew me away as far as, again, what it means to really be in education. And I think, having my sister taught in public school, my son is in public schools, it is getting harder. It's getting more challenging for a lot of reasons. But anyway, those 3 taught me how to be myself, how to trust myself. They were model teachers and coaches who Jerry Kashani called model teaching artists. And by the way, he wrote a great article that you can find on Cortland's website called The Genesis and Evolution of Physical Education at SUNY Cortland. And I read through that thing, and the walls came tumbling down, as John Mellencamp might sing, in terms of, wow, Cortland is amazing at what they do with education. I know they do a lot of other good things as well. So they taught me to be an artist, and I've tried to live up to that all these years with my writing and teaching. All right, so I'm going to end with one quick story in honor of all the students I've had for the last 34 years at Miami University. And again, it's one of those transformative times which at the moment, it seems kind of simple, but I keep going back and remembering it. So I'm going to tell you this story. So while I was at Mamaroneck, the Demases lived in this neighborhood in Mamaroneck, and there were a lot of kids in this neighborhood, some of whom I had when I was teaching during the day at the school, whether it was, I think it was elementary at the time. So after a while, these kids found out where I lived. They must have saw me go into the house or whatever. They found out where I lived. So one day, there was a knock on the Demas' door. I was playing with their son, Colin, 2 L's. Our son is 1 L, but I think somehow in my mind, when we were trying to think of names for our son, I think Colin popped in there. Kim's probably like, I don't know, Jay, whatever. But anyway, so I was playing with their son, Colin, in the family room, and Ken answered the door. And I heard one kid ask, "Can Mr. K come out and play with us?" And so I did. For many, many years, I've been playing at trying to be an artist and a teacher and as a writer, as a communicator. Hopefully I've succeeded in some way, shape, or form. So thank you, Cortland, for helping me create a life of play and learning and sharing it with so many others, hopefully. So all I will say, and I know we have a lot of challenges in the world and in society, but somehow, some way, let's all keep playing. Thank you very much.
Thanks again, Dr. J. I'm going to take bets that probably this visit will be a little bit warmer than the last time you were here. Our next distinguished educator is Susan Ryan, class of 1983. Susan, who helped her Red Dragons women's soccer team capture the United States Women's National Championship in 1980, teaches graduate classes in coaching, leadership, and higher education administration as an assistant professor in the School of Professional Development at Stony Brook University. As a head coach, Susan led the Stony Brook women's soccer program from a Division III program to a perennial contender in Division I in the America East Conference. That includes her volunteer service to countless youth, including future Olympic hopefuls with the Stony Brook Lake Grove Newfield Soccer Club. Susan earned the United Soccer Coaches Women's Committee Award of Excellence. Please join me in congratulating Susan Ryan.
Hello, everyone. Oh, come on. You know what the issue is with asking a physical education teacher to come to the mic after you've been sitting for an hour? They're going to make you move. So this is your choice. You can stand up, you can shake out your arms, shake out your legs, but you got to do something because movement is medicine for the soul. So come on. I'm going to dedicate 30 seconds of my 2 minutes to you right now. Have a little fun. Feel free, move those ankles, shoulders. Feel good about it. Take that sip of water. Looking good. Yeah, hands in the air. Feel free. Star jumps are allowed. No problem. If you want to get down that. Yes, well done. Excellent. Feel a little bit better, right? Okay. You know what the second issue is with asking an educator to come to the mic? Now, you're already starting to know me, admit it. You're already saying, where did this one come from, right? Alger Hall is the answer. You're going to have an education opportunity. That's what this is about, right? Like, we're teachers. This is what we do. So I selected my theme. Gonna have to think about it for a second because the nominator who nominated me for this is Lori Palmer, and she's in the room, my teammate. Right there. And she is a graphic artist. So I thought, let me find something that's an illustration. So from Ghana, the illustration is Sankafa. And it's the illustration of a bird. My children tell me that there's this thing called Google, that you can put things in and you can Google it. Max and Isabella tell me this all the time. Who knew? So you can Google it. Sankafa is the illustration of a bird holding an egg, a precious egg, signifying new birth, new life. And the bird is looking over her shoulder. Everybody heard that, right? you have somebody else up here, it's his shoulder, her shoulder, looking over, respecting the past, respecting the elders, respecting what came before her. And to me, that's the Alumni Association. The Alumni Association is looking back and saying, what shoulders have we built this on? At the same time that they're carrying the precious egg for the future for our wonderful school. You like it, right? Admit it. Great. Fantastic. This is what happens when you put, again, an educator forward. So you heard that I was a part of the soccer team, and so I feel the need to give the highlight of my years here, that story. It is a documentary that you can see. It's 2 vans, and so you can see the longer version. But in fact, we did drive in 2 vans to Colorado with no cell phones or GPS, with the money for our food in a bag, with no hotel, rotating driving shifts among the athletes, got to where there's an issue with the air and elevation, and then beat UCLA in the finals. On the way home, Terry Fabry is driving. I'm sitting a little bit behind her, and we hear sirens. And we're thinking, this is not possible. We have driven 5,000 miles, and you are now getting pulled over for speeding on Route 40. Really? So we all pull over, and she's yelling at everybody to put their seatbelts on, and the police come to us and tell us that it's a police escort. So now we're escorted by 2 police cars back here, and I was very thankful for this because I was a dual major, English and physical education. And so I was reading Homer up on top of the hill, and I love the story of the swimming because I had to do a somersault on a balance beam to pass my gymnastics class. So I'm trying to do a forward roll, and I can't even do that. So between Homer and that, but the people in the PER were very understanding of my time in Colorado. The people up the hill, I had to explain to them exactly what I was doing, and I was very concerned that I was going to receive absences. I might have been, this is going to be news to my children, I might have been a little bit of a nerd in college, and I was very concerned that I was going to have my first absence in my English class where we were studying the Odyssey, and the teacher, because of the picture in the paper of the police cars, said that I had an excused absence. So I was very, very grateful for that. So my thoughts behind Cortland is Cortland plants the seeds that we cultivate, and the places that we go and the people we interact with. I've been at Stony Brook University for 40 years. I was the soccer coach, and now I'm in the School of Professional Development. So they have helped to cultivate the seeds that were put into the ground here and then cultivated. And at the time when you are here and you've got your typewriter in front of you and you've got your white corrector tape in your hand and you make a mistake for the 3rd time, and you're thinking, and now you take the corrector tape and you put it inside the little piece. You know exactly what I'm talking about. I can see you doing it. And you put it inside, and now you're hitting the R because you wanted to hit the S, and now it goes white. You go back, and now you have to type over it, and then you look to see, is it good? And then you smudge it. There was no back button. There was no delete button. My paper on Title IX was 10 pages on my little typewriter with I might have gone through 3 packets of corrector type. So that is the planting of the seeds. I didn't know it then. We didn't know it then. We didn't know what was going to happen then. But now we are ever grateful for someone saying, nope, you're not leaving here until you do that somersault on the balance beam, and for saying, no, you've got to read the whole Odyssey, not the Cliff Notes, the entire thing. And let me tell you, this is only one quick story I'm going to tell you. My Upper Division English. Have you ever seen, like in the Friends episodes, how they have boxes of cereal in the cabinet behind the kitchen? Those aren't real boxes. They're pretend. They're just cutouts, cardboard, with Cheerios and Wheaties on the outside. So they literally take it and put it there, and it looks like a bunch of cereal boxes, right? So in my highest English class that I had, I'm sitting in a kind of like a high seat, and there's all these books on the table down below, like similar to this. There had to be 50 books. And the professor says, now, this is the reading list for the semester. Now, I'm not embarrassed, but semi-embarrassed, because again, my kids are listening to this. I was so excited. I was thinking, we are going to read all of those. And I worked in the library so that I could check out the books for free without having to pay for them. So I thought, this is fantastic. I'm going to read all those books. And the teacher said, and if that's an issue for you, then let me know. 3/4 of the people in the class walked out of the room. No exaggeration. Up, left. The teacher then takes the cutouts of all of these books, they would completely pretend, and puts them on the floor and says, well, now that we have that out of the way, now we can really learn this semester. So that's my favorite story from my college days. Okay, so time for the thank yous. So thank you to the Alumni Association and all the people who helped me along this way. It really is an honor, and I'm forever grateful for this opportunity. So thank you very much for that. And thank you to my friends who are here. Can I have the Johnsons raise their hand? Yeah, right there. Look, that's my table in the back right there, in case you were wondering. A little bit about the Johnsons. And then Lori's family, Doreen and Jesse. How about you? Yeah, there they are. Okay, so we got everybody back there. So at home, we had two members of my family that couldn't make it, Leo and Frankie. So I just want to acknowledge that they could make it. Izzy's so happy that I announced that. But the rest of my family is here. So this is a big shout out right now. You can help with this. Tracy, Max, and Isabella, rest of my family, right here. And then it wouldn't be a thank you without mentioning my mom and my godmother. So my godmother, this is an unbelievable story. I came here, and are you aware that there's a hill that goes from the dorms here up to the library? Yes. Okay. So I came ill-equipped in the ice to walk from the dorm to the, and other people as well. You could see people, mostly women in heels maybe, or not really the correct shoes, walking and then sliding back and then walking and sliding back. And then the people who've been here, you know, some people just turned around and went back saying, I'm not going to make it to class today, because you just keep going up and then you slide and sometimes you fall. So then it's really bad because you don't want to go to the hospital. So my godmother, Mary, sent me boots. And I was like, oh, this is the best thing ever. So now I was actually able to go to class because my godmother sent me boots. Then, as a part of the soccer team, we had to have an awards presentation. Actually, I think it might have been in this very room. And at the time, I had T-shirts and shorts and sneakers. That was the extent of my entire wardrobe. And Anna Rush said to us, you have to look nice. And I went into a full-blown panic. I mean, I have my regular T-shirts that I run in, my T-shirts that I go to school, and then I have my T-shirts that are my dress-up T-shirts, but I don't think that that's going to cut it. So I called my mom and I said, Mom, I have to go to this very important thing and I have nothing to wear. And so she sent me clothes. So between my boots and my clothes, I made it through all my 4 years with these donations from my family back home. So again, thank you to all the people here who are supporting me, and thank you to all the other people who supported this endeavor, and congratulations to all my co-recipients. Thanks very much.
Thanks again, Susan. One of my favorite reunion shirts of all time was her team. They had shirts that said, Where the hell is Cortland, New York? And on the back, it just said, ask UCLA. So. All right, we are streaming right now. Unfortunately, our next recipient couldn't make it today, but I want you all to look up at that little square up there and wave and say, hey, Brad. So we're going to read a quick bio because I think he's streaming. But our next distinguished educator is Brad Weiner, class of 03, master's 2004. Brad, an educational specialist in the Fairfax County Public Schools in Virginia, currently recruits, hires, mentors, and supervises adaptive physical education teachers across Fairfax County, one of the 15 largest school districts in the country, with an exceptionally large cohort of adaptive physical educators. Brad is among a rare group of about 150 adaptive physical education teachers in the country who have attained the status of National Board Professional Certified Teacher. In only 20 years since graduation, Brad's professional education work has earned him many of the highest awards in the profession, including being named the National Adaptive Physical Education Teacher of the Year by the Society of Health and Physical Educators. We will make sure that Brad gets his award, but congratulations to Brad. Last but not least is our Honorary Alumni Award. Since 1968, the Honorary Alumni Award has recognized very special friends who are not Cortland graduates for their enthusiastic role in championing, oh my goodness, SUNY Cortland and serving its students and alumni. Recipients are nominated by the university and the Alumni Association. Our recipient this year is Joanna Ames. A vital entrepreneur and leader in Cortland, Joanna is a driving force behind SUNY Cortland's historic fundraising efforts. She is the immediate past chair of the Cortland College Foundation Board of Directors, the nonprofit organization that manages the school's endowment and directs all its fundraising efforts. Joanna co-chaired the university's successful 5-year All-In campaign, which raised a record-breaking $30.5 million in over 5 years, surpassing expectations. In 2018, she accepted the SUNY Cortland College Council's College Community Appreciation Award, joining past family recipients, both her father and grandfather. Joanna and her sister, Tanya Ames, established the Donald S. Ames and Diana Ames Scholarship in honor of their parents. Formerly the president and CEO of Ames Linen Service, a family-owned textile rental company, from 2007 to 2023, she is now an operations executive for Image First Healthcare Linen Services, which bought her family's business. She is also a director of NBT Bancorp while serving on the boards of directors for Guthrie Healthcare System, Inc., and the Cortland County Business Development Industrial Development Agency. Please join me in congratulating Joanna.
A poem? You know me so well, Bob. My 13-year-old just said, "You better make it quick, Mom." So I asked her to time me, so you can start now. Okay. So in January of this year, the New York Times published a piece entitled "The 7 Keys to Longevity." I'm pretty sure you could come up with them on your own. Alas, I'm going to share them with you. So here they are. Number 1, move more. Number 2, eat more fruits and vegetables. Number 3, get enough sleep. Number 4, don't smoke and don't drink too much. Number 5, manage your chronic conditions. Number 6, cultivate a positive mindset. And number 7, prioritize your relationships. So I wanted to focus on that number 7 for just a moment. It turns out that according to a Harvard study on longevity, strong relationships with our family and our friends are the biggest predictors of our well-being and a contributor to our longevity. And so, as I think about this honor today, it is because of the relationships that I have been blessed to form with my Cortland friends who nominated me. Thank you to David and to Dan, wherever he just went, way in the back. Thank you. With Dr. Bitterbaum, with Peter, Rich, Tina, Aaron, and the institutional advancement team, and with the other fellow Cortland College Foundation board members, some of whom are here recreating their antics of the past, I believe, but all of whom have become more like family and are such a treasured part of my life. So because of those relationships that I can confirm, SUNY Cortland has absolutely contributed to my longevity. And I would like to add a key to longevity, number 8. When you are named an honorary alum, be sure to designate yourself a member of the class of 2024. And by doing so, you will be able to turn the clock back 26 years. So thank you all for the honor. Very much appreciated.
Thanks, Johanna. One housekeeping note, we're going to get a photo of all the awardees at the end of the ceremony towards the back. So if my awardees don't mind going back there afterwards, and then please everybody hang out and congratulate them. It is now my pleasure to introduce you to our SUNY Cortland president, Eric Bitterbaum. As Dr. J mentioned, Eric has led our university for 21 years and was recently placed on the Trailblazers in Higher Education list, an honor published by City and State New York, recognizing 100 individuals who have excelled through their work in higher education.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I do have some formal remarks, but before I begin, you know, every year it's astonishing to me about our alums who come back and who are honored. They are really extraordinary individuals. So I want to thank our SUNY Cortland Alumni Association for hosting this wonderful event. And I want to echo the words of those before me in congratulating this year's award recipients. They are truly an extraordinary group of individuals. In my 21 years here, I have enjoyed the good fortune of getting to know many of this year's honorees. And in learning more about them, it is easy to understand why they're joining a very select group among more than 80,000 living SUNY Cortland alumni. They are leaders in education, business, health-related research, law, and several other specialized disciplines. They are advocates for others, especially those from underrepresented groups. And I believe all of this year's honoraries care deeply about improving the communities around them, not for their own personal benefit, but to leave this world a better place than what they found it. Many of you know that I have the privilege each year of delivering the charge to our graduates at commencement, and so I did it again this past year when we welcomed more than 1,800 new members to the alumni family. I have different stories that I like to recount about the people and life lessons that have impacted me. I don't expect our students to remember every word. My hope, of course, is that they will find the smallest bit of motivation for a brief moment and then turn and see potential in their own abilities. One of my favorite stories to tell is about my grandfather and his simple rules for living. I like to talk about Grandpa described as the burning desire factor, a quality exhibited by these extraordinary people in life who are motivated, reliable, and have put others before themselves, as you've heard this afternoon, both in their personal and in their professional lives. In thinking about those remarks, it is clear to me that I'm talking about the people like this year's alumni awardees. You all share this equality of motivation for your classmates, your colleagues, and the entire SUNY Cortland community, especially our current students and our newest graduates. And so on behalf of everyone at SUNY Cortland, I hope you know that your university is proud to be part of your story. I'll end by sharing the last line of my commencement charge about my grandfather. And this is what he always would say, and so I say it. And so my hope and prayer for you as you leave Cortland is that wherever your life takes you, however it unfolds, that you have something to do, something to love, something to hope for, and as Grandpa would say, may it be a life that matters. So my observation this afternoon is to our alumni and friends in attendance, especially those who we recognize this year, thank you for making your lives a life that matters. Take care.